Roller ski season is basically here. Before we jump into that, I wanted to go over some roller skiing basics, especially when it comes to maintaining your roller skis and picking out the right roller skis that are good for you. I'm not a huge fan of combi roller skis. I know they're out there and available. I think it does make sense to invest in a pair of classic only skis and a pair of skate only skis. It's so much easier to work on technique that way. The combi ones are just a little bit janky, and I think you'll regret it in the long run. It's kind of worth the investment to get good roller skis right off the bat. If you do take care of your roller skis, they're bound to last you multiple seasons and multiple summers. So they really are a good investment in the long run. There are a few variations of roller skis out there. There are a composite shaft like this you see from Marwe, a composite classic ski, and they make composite skate skis as well. There are also aluminum shaft skis in both classic and skate. And other brands such as Sweenor and Swix also make aluminum or metal shafts and probably a composite shaft as well. I'm not quite as familiar as the other brands, but I can run through some of the wheel speeds for you. With a company like Swix or Sweenor, their number 2 wheel skis, or their C2s, are going to be their faster ski, and the C3 is going to be their slower version. So a 3 is slower than 2. With a Marwe, the fastest wheels are called 0 wheels, followed by a 6 wheel, which is kind of your standard wheel, which will come on most of the skis as a 6, followed by a 6-7 wheel, which is slightly slower, and then a 7 wheel is going to be the slowest wheel that you can get on a Marwe ski. And when you make an order with Marwe, with Finn Sisu, for example, you can request different speed wheels. I know not everyone needs a full fleet of roller skis like myself, but I like to have a little bit variation, so I can have some skis already mounted with faster wheels for doing speed training, for example. Aluminum skis are great for speed training. If you're maybe a slightly heavier skier, if you're a skier maybe over 200 pounds, I might recommend using an aluminum shaft skate ski or classic ski because they're just not going to compress. If you're a bigger skier, you can take a composite ski like this and probably compress it all the way down to the ground. Marwe and Swix, I know, make different stiffness skis. I run a regular stiffness ski, but they do make a stiffer version of the composite ski. I personally use the Marwe brand and like the feel of the Marwe composite ski just because it has a pretty realistic kick down to the road. Marwe's also come standard with a ratchet in front, which is really important. Some of the other skis, I know some of the older Swix and some of the Sweenors would come with a ratchet in the back, and that has a little bit more of a stiffer kick. When you have the ratchet in the front, it kind of feels more realistic to the ski. I also like the Marwe wheels tend to wear way slower than other brands and wear a lot more evenly. So that's one thing to consider. Even if a ski is an investment, you have to realize that some wheels wear at different paces than other wheels. The harder the wheel, the less it will take to wear it down. The softer the rubber, the more wear you will get over time. So a good pair of Marwe skis and a new pair of wheels should be able to last somebody who's roller skiing a couple times a week, should be able to last them at least a few summers. Somebody like me who roller skis up to 6 times a week, you might go through one set of wheels in a summer, but that's going to take a lot of Ks and a lot of roller skiing to do that. Okay, so some quick tips. I have a lot of people that ask me about roller skis when they're not tracking straight. It can be a problem, and that can happen for a number of reasons. First reason, I never recommend that you try to mount your own bindings on a roller ski. That's going to be a disaster. Most of the companies, I know Finn Sisu, when you order a pair of skis from them, they'll drill and mount your skis with these cool Rockefeller bindings on there. If you try to mount your own ski, all it takes is the binding being off a tiny bit, and your ski is not going to track straight. You're going to wear in a weird angle, and it's going to be a problem. So get the skis mounted by a pro. Secondly, and they'll mount this for you. You want your heel kind of as far back as you can to your wheel. This gets a little bit tricky when you're working with kids who have small feet, but in general you want to be mounting the ski just behind the balance point and as far back as possible so that your heel is coming right to the back wheel. Another thing you can do with both classic and skate skis is switch your feet halfway through a lot of the workouts, and that's something that a lot of skiers do just kind of as second nature. We're used to doing that, but as with most roads, you'll see a slight crown in the road, so as you're roller skiing down the road, your ski might be constantly tilted to one angle. So just switching your skis from one foot to the other halfway through your workout will help your wheels wear in a little bit more straighter fashion. So if you have a ski that is not tracking straight, the first thing to look for is to identify the ski that's not tracking straight, and you can actually just take off the wheel. You can do it easily with 2 wrenches, and what you're looking for here is you're looking to see if the spacer is sitting flush with the bearing. And you should be able to tell just by taking the ski apart, and you should feel the bearing run smoothly between the spacer. So if it's not, if the spacer is tilted in one direction or the other, that can be a clear indication that your ski is not tracking straight. Put it back together with the bolt and the 2 bearings and the spacers, and your wheel should be rolling straight. One way to check if your roller ski is tracking straight or not is to find a completely flat piece of ground. This garage works great. And you're just giving it a roll test, and you'll see if it starts to veer off in one direction or the other, that means the roller ski needs some work. So you can see if I take this ski and roll it, that's a dead straight ski. That's a pretty new ski. We're going to be in good shape. If you've taken apart the bearing and the wheel and put it back together and your wheel is still not rolling straight, or your ski is still not rolling straight with that test, what you can do is if it's veering in this direction, you want to actually bang the ski on this direction, on this side, and it can help knock the fenders in that direction. So this could be the case if the fenders are completely straight on the ski. Could have been bent in shipping, or if you drop the ski, sometimes those can bend. So you can literally just, if it's veering to the right, take the ski and give it a good whack on the pavement, on that side of the bearing, on that fender, and that can help straighten your ski out. Another thing people ask me often about are slipping ratchets. Here with the Marways, the ratchet's in the front. If you do get a ski that the ratchet is slipping, so in other words, you feel your kick slip as you're trying to push off of the ski, that can usually just be solved just by tightening these 2 bearings. So I like to have 2 wrenches very handy. They're the exact same size, and you can lock them in like this and easily tighten or loosen and tighten your bolts, and that will help tighten up your ratchet. If you're slipping, again, just tighten it and the ratchet should hold. If you even just want to speed up the ski a little bit, if the wheel's not rolling too well, you can just loosen the bolts and the ski will roll a little bit freer that way. When heading out for a roller ski, at the very least, I like to take with me a spare ski tip. I often bring these 2 wrenches or keep them in my truck. Diamond stone is another good thing to have. You can use this to sharpen ski tips for cold weather, or if your ski tips are slipping on very hard pavement. These Swix tips are great. They don't wear very quickly. You can usually ski with a tip like this for the entire summer without this thing really wearing down. These things are great tips. If you are somebody that uses some of the old roller ski ferrules or other tips that are put on with glue, I always travel with an extra ferrule and a lighter in my drink belt or in my water bottle holder, because with a lighter you can actually change a tip. You can heat up the bottom of your pole with the glue and slide on a new tip if you break a tip while you're skiing. You're bound to ski in the rain at one point or another during the summer. If that's the case, one of the things that can really help prolong the life of your roller skis is when you come back, just give them a rinse with a normal hose to rinse off all the dirt. You can spray directly on the wheels if you want, spray the whole under shaft and the bindings, get all the dirt and grit off of the ski. Then once you're done, shake the water off, and actually we have the roller skis hung here for a reason. When you're done with a wet roller ski, hang your ski on the side like that. The reason we do that is if there's any water left in the bearings or have gotten into the bearings or in the middle of the wheel, that water will then drip out, as opposed to if you leave it like this, water can sometimes pool in the bottom of the bearings. So that's very helpful. It will help prolong the life of your wheels. Finally, let's just talk about general roller ski equipment really quickly. I'm somebody that always roller skis in my normal ski boots. I think it's pretty painful when I see kids out there trying to roller ski in combi boots on a combi ski. That's what I'm saying. It really makes sense to try to invest in a pure skate ski or pure classic ski, and also ski in sturdy boots. Kids are growing fast enough that they're gonna grow through their race boots anyway. It's no problem to send a young athlete out on their racing ski boots. It's totally fine. These combi boots that kids try to ski in, their ankles are super floppy in those sometimes. It's not enough support. They'll often be kind of tipping on and off the ski with a combi boot, and they're gonna be wearing their wheels and just not gonna have a good time. The other problem I often see younger athletes with is they'll head out with some of these rubber grips. They're not bad if you wear gloves on a daily basis, but there's nothing worse than a rubber gripped barehanded roller ski. These things will just tear up your hands with blisters after a while. Cork grips are way better on your hands when it comes to roller skiing in the summer. I can roller ski without a glove with a cork grip, and you won't get any blisters whatsoever, even in the heat. I really recommend using a 1.0, a 2.0, or even a 3.0. Like I said, it makes sense to roller ski with good equipment. These Swix tips are the #1 reason why I would use a pole like this. They're super easy. You spin this off, you can change a tip in no time, and also these carbon tips, they last way longer than any of the other tips I've ever used. Just the fact that you can change the tips that easily is a good reason to use a pole like a Swix Triac for the roller ski season. Again, you could roller ski on a Swix Triac all summer long and then even race on it. You're not going to damage the pole. The only way you're going to break these is if you fall doing a speed workout, or you put the pole between your legs, which happens plenty of times this summer. You might crack the bottom of the pole. But again, you're not going to just damage them by roller skiing with them. It's a great stiff pole. It'll work fine. I've seen also people that use that say, why would I want to use a stiff pole? Isn't that going to hurt my elbow when I'm roller skiing? And I actually think it's backwards. People that use soft poles will often experience more elbow pain than a stiff pole because you have so much more vibration in a soft pole than you do a stiff pole. Sometimes people use like shock absorber tips. I don't have a lot of experience with that, but I can tell you that by using a stiff pole and just a sharp roller ski basket, roller ski tip, you will experience less elbow pain than with a soft noodly pole.